walked into a room, I got looked up and down like a piece of shit, and Holly looked me dead in the eye and said, look what the cat dragged in. Holly was coming for me, then Shannon was piping up, then Lacey was coming.
I've only ever reacted to your behaviour.
Call me cynical or whatever, but I am not buying some of the stories. I'm sorry, I am not. And the audacity for people like Holly, Polly, and Lacey not to be asked to apologize doesn't make sense to me. I don't get it. They deserved to apologize for their bad behavior, including Sasha, the way she spoke to some of the guys. She deserved to be called out and to apologize for that bad behavior that she displayed. And so for Kieran also to pretend to be a victim, I'm not buying it. I really am not buying it. And with Luke's story, what do I think? I'm cynical about it. I'm cynical about it in the sense that with Amy, she hasn't done anything to show us that she's, a prude, because her behavior with Adam doesn't sort of match what she's suddenly being offended about by her husband. Anyway, I digress. Hey there, thanks for stopping by. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, click the like button, turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos, and definitely leave a comment. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Married at First Sight UK, Season 9, Episode 36. I don't get the reason behind calling everyone to come for this final commitment ceremony and then not having them sort of have their time on the couch and sort of debrief. Maybe it would be too long an episode, I don't know. Anyway, so they go through, everyone's first encounter, their wedding days, their impressions of each other, and everyone is very emotional. People are crying. Charlie is crying because Charlie went through a lot, in my opinion. Charlie really went through a lot. She was on a roller coaster before everybody else got on it, because she was in a marriage with someone who would behave differently behind closed doors as compared to in front of everybody else. So Eve would storm off and then come back and apologize just before the dinner party, walk in as a united front, go back home, storm out again, and that was the circle until they both decided to leave. And outside of that, she would go and badmouth Charlie behind her back to the other wives. So Charlie was the first one to face the venom of these women, Polly, Holly, and company. And so I feel sorry for her. I feel, yes, the experts addressed this and apologized, but they should have got the girls to apologize to her. She deserves an apology in front of everyone, from Polly, for the way Polly treated her and called her out and called her a bully. Holly and Polly should have apologized. I'm sorry. I won't take that back. Anyway, next up is Orson. Orson is sort of saying, he's in a good space. He's doing very well. He's sorry that Rochelle couldn't come. You would have wanted to see her. And it's like, you don't need the show to see her. You could have called her if you really were that concerned about her. You could have DM'd her if you're really that concerned about her. Something about Orson doesn't make sense to me, especially given the fact that he's now dating a Caucasian lady when he said he wanted someone from the Caribbean during the matching process. So it doesn't balance out. Yes, they talk about his connection with Hannah and they say they kissed because they wanted to see if there was anything there, but there was nothing. They're both happy to continue on as friends. You have the likes of Holly sort of roll their eyes and it's like, why? What's wrong with Hannah being friends with Orson? If Shannon can be friends with Stephen, then Hannah and Orson can be friends. That's my opinion. So first on the couch is Amy and Luke. They are shown their final vows and they're sort of asked, how do you feel about what went down during your final vows? And Amy is saying that, she's very apologetic. She wants to apologize. Well, she's not apologetic. She says she feels bad for how she came across because it came across very harsh. I expected her to apologize. I didn't hear any apology in that. Because she hurt this man's feelings by saying those horrible things. And so I think in an attempt to sort of salvage her own reputation, she brought up the comments about him and the bumhole. For me, I'm going to stick to my guns. If he said that, because he was taken aback and he tried to sort of explain it. This is why I said there's a language barrier, because he tried to explain it that it seems, or to me it came across as this might be something they've said in passing, in conversation, in jest. Whether it was that extreme or not, they must have had some sort of sexual comments that they made to one another that made him think this was okay. Because he was saying, I wanted to show you that I have that fire, that yearning for you. And I said it before, I'll say it again. Most of it was lost in translation. That's my opinion. I don't think he ever meant to be crude. I don't think he ever meant any harm to her. But I think most of it was lost in translation. The fact that she was comfortable having those sexual remarks with Adam and called it banter, and was comfortable smacking Adam with a dildo, and yes, she's saying Luke vandalized her, I don't buy it. I don't buy it. If she had been all prim and proper with Adam, if she had been offended by Adam, the same way she was offended by Luke, then I would say, okay, fine, Luke crossed the line. In my books, yes, he said it. I wish I understood the Maltese language, and I could ask him to sort of say it to me in that language. That way I can fully get the gist of what he was saying. It is what it is. At the end of the day, he apologized. She didn't apologize. She says she feels like she's a better person. She's grown. She's able to speak her mind. So you're able to speak your mind and say some of the most horrible things, but you're not able to apologize. In my review yesterday, I remember saying somebody ran to wipe the wine off Adam when Polly spilled wine on him. And I remember there was a tattoo on the person's arm. Well, it turns out it was Amy. So Amy has been having something with Adam since the wife swap. That's the impression that I get, that whatever they did on wife swap, they have continued behind their spouse's back and have looked for excuses to sort of cover up for that. This is why when they left the wife swap, the two of them were very horrible and very malicious to their partners, because they knew that they had found their ideal match. Apparently, they watched the final vows together with Polly and Alex. So it is what it is. I have no empathy. I'm still Team Luke. Sorry. Next up is Nate and Lacey. Nate and Lacey are obviously the successful story of season 9. I think they're the success story. The problem is, I didn't really see much of their journey, in the sense that the only time we saw them, it was when there was awkwardness, and it was mainly when the mother-in-law was there. So the dinner party plus the homestays. Otherwise, we really didn't get much of their journey. They seem to be doing well. They seem to be thriving. At the start of their marriage, I was worried that how could you match someone with ADHD with somebody else just because, you know, their sibling has ADHD. But it seems they've managed to sort of learn to communicate with one another. It seems Nate, on his part, has actually come out of his shell in this journey and has actually grown and acknowledges that he's got work to do. He knows he struggles with communication. He knows he's appreciative of the fact that Lacey has been there and she's been patient and understanding with him, which is what you want from someone. If you've gone through such a turbulent experience together, the least you could do is show appreciation for the person you've walked through that firestorm with, because it hasn't been easy filming the show. And so to go through that, whether or not you're successful, the least you can do is say thank you to the person you went through with it. That's the least you can do. They seem to be thriving. They didn't talk about really their future plans in regards moving in together or moving closer together. So I don't know what's going to happen with that. They spoke about little Nates, and it's like, yeah, but they need to sort of move in together first and then maybe start thinking of having children. But they say they're having the conversation, so hopefully at some point they'll reach an understanding and they'll be in agreement. Nate seems very panicked as soon as he hears about the kids. I think he's not yet ready, so hopefully they get on the same page, and then they that can be their next plan after they've moved in together. I don't know whether the marriages in the UK are official. I know in the US they are, but I don't know whether the UK ones are official or whether they're not. Next up is Polly and Adam. What do I think of Polly and Adam? Okay, their journey. We get to watch their journey, you know, their wedding day. We get to see their ups and downs, their buyer's remorse the following day after they had sex on wedding night. And this is my opinion of their journey. I feel like Polly knew that Adam wasn't attracted to her. He didn't find her beautiful. And she had sex with him to prove a point. I feel like he just went along just to get along, and he decided, hey, he's a man, they will have sex with anything, so he decided to have sex. And after having sex with her, I think he realized that, oh, this was a bad mistake. And so he then sort of backtracked. And throughout their journey, Adam has been doing things to stay on the show, whether it's because he was getting advice from his friend, or whether it's production who were telling him that we need you to stay on the show until the very end. Something doesn't make sense. They spoke about, you know, the fight the night before and how that came about to be. Polly says, you know, she's sorry. She knows that what she did was wrong. Yes, it was wrong. That's abuse. There's no other way of describing it. That is abuse. And so for them to say, yeah, she understands what she did was wrong. Well, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to apologize? Are you going to... I don't get it, because I don't think, as much as they try to hold Adam's feet to the fire to sort of ask him, do you see yourself responsible? He's responsible for having had sex with her, even though he knew he wasn't attracted to her. He's responsible for staying in the experiment, even though he knew he wasn't attracted to his wife and the situation would never change. He's responsible for sort of agreeing to do certain things or agreeing to say certain things when he knew he wasn't fully into it. So that I hold him accountable for, and is responsible for some of the words that have come out of his mouth. That I hold him accountable for. But at the same time, I appreciate the fact that he apologized and said, I'm sorry for anything I said or did that hurt your feelings. Whereas all Polly said was, I'm sorry. That's the problem. Polly, as much as she's saying she knows she is responsible for the failure of their marriage, I don't think she really knows what she's sorry about exactly, because she's never been able to articulate a coherent sort of apology. And so, yes, as much as he was wrong for saying that she was mourning for him in bed to have sex with her, she should have apologized better. That's my opinion. One. And I'm surprised that nothing was said about the Amy and Luke situation in Ann Summers, because you see them there with Adam saying, oh, you look sexy in this. Everybody cringed when they saw that, but nothing was said about it. Yet we were dragging Luke Fulfilled. So how can we drag Luke Fulfilled and yet be okay with Adam saying that to somebody else's wife? Make it make sense. It's not making sense. And this is where the double standard lies, in the sense that, so they were happy to drag Luke, but they're okay with Adam saying to somebody else's wife, oh, you'd look sexy in that. Make it make sense. And how come Polly wasn't offended by that? How come she didn't bring it up and everybody just swept it under the carpet? Make that make sense? So you have Emma and Casper. Emma and Casper are in a very good space. Casper, I think, is coming to terms with the fact that, I think he has buyer's remorse to some extent, because you have them sit down for a conversation with the experts and they're sort of saying, they really appreciate this journey, because there were two people, I think, that were stuck in their shells and they had this massive wall round the eggshells that they were sitting in. And so being on the experiment, having people sort of encourage them to step out and find out who they are as people and what they want from relationships has been amazing for them, because now they know what they want in a relationship. The thing that they did that I loved the most was the fact that Casper thanked Emma, that being with you, I realized that you deserved to be with someone who gave you what you wanted. And I really appreciate you for being on this journey with me, because at the end of the day, I am a better man because of you. And that was sweet to see. The fact that Emma was laughing and she's really saying she's managed to get over this shows that she's really grown. I don't know whether she's gone to counseling. I don't know whether she's covering up. Whatever she's doing is really working for her. The fact that she said she wanted an invite to his wedding was the cherry on the top. For me, was the cherry on the top, because she told him, hopefully we will find our next couples, we will find our next person, and I hope you invite me to your wedding. So I can't wait for that. I know I saw a TikTok of Emma saying that, Casper's sister has been in her DMs and has apologized for some of the things that she went through, which is amazing to see that he support from his family. And she also said, because she was being asked by Christina that would you want to be friends with her, and she said, yeah, but it depends on Casper, because at the end of the day, I have to be respectful of Casper. And it would be difficult if he's dating someone and then they find out that, his sister's best friends with his ex-wife. Ooh, that would be difficult. But I love the fact that they're at acceptance that their marriage didn't work. I think if Casper can get his foot out of his backside, he can work to win her, because I think he realizes that she's actually amazing and he lost out on someone amazing because he was too stuck in his shell and in his head and in what he was looking for a partner. Next up is Hannah. So they say that Stephen is not there. I think Stephen knew what he was doing. Stephen didn't want his feet held to the fire, because Hannah is correct to say, I didn't expect any different. He has been lying to the group. He tried to set up a date with Shannon, then turned around when Ryan turned up and said, no, I didn't say that. And then he went behind people's backs and asked Shannon on a date, and she still said no. So the idea that he would come and sit down and have them play video of what he actually said, that was a lie. He was never going to show up. So Hannah is right to say, I wasn't expecting him to be here. And I'm not surprised that he's not here. And so then, Paul says, Hannah, it seems you always attract negative. You've got a lot of energy and you attract a lot of negativity wherever you go, no matter how well-intentioned you are. I said this before, I'll say this again. A lot of it was jealousy. and insecurities that people were projecting onto Hannah. Hannah has got her own business. She's a gym owner. Hannah is amazing, her body. A lot of people aspire to be that. Hannah, yes, her face, it depends. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And she is outspoken. She doesn't back down. She's not afraid to stand on business. And because of this, this is what people like Polly and Holly and Lacey want to be. And that's why they constantly beating her down and beating her down and beating her down so that they can somehow feel better about themselves. The audacity for Holly to say, oh, you know, she got that because she deserved it, because I was sick and tired. Every allegation you've had against Hannah has been something you've heard from your husband. It hasn't been something Hannah has said to your face. So did Alex tell you the truth, or are you making up stories? Because we would have seen something, or Holly or Hannah would have owned up to saying something to you. I am so upset that they didn't make Holly, Polly, Lacey, and whoever apologize. The audacity for Sasha to chime in and say, oh no, it was just you and Holly, everybody else wasn't involved. No, I give her credit for calling them out, the mean girls. I give her credit. She said, as soon as I walked in, Holly said, look what the cat dragged in. And then Polly chimed in and Lacey. And you could see all their faces. They were embarrassed. Shannon chimed. They were all embarrassed because they know what they did. They're now going on social media trying to justify their actions, but it's too late. The damage is done and there's nothing you can do about it. Holly was embarrassed because she was asked, how would you feel if somebody else spoke to your daughter the same way you did to me? And I would never speak to another woman the way you did to me, because that's derogatory, that's humiliating, that's embarrassing. So the idea that you feel comfortable doing that, and this is why she's come, if you come for my children, I'm ready for, every parent is ready for war when it comes to their child. But that doesn't mean you should embarrass or be derogatory towards somebody else. Irregardless of how you feel, have a civilized conversation. I like the fact that Hannah stood on business. When they asked her, do you have anything else to say? She said no. Shutting that door down and showing them that I am not bothered by you. I'm not interested. I am moving on. And so for Holly to say, oh, I hope one day we can at least say hi. No. If that were me, our roads have passed and we're never going to greet each other. Even if we meet at a social event, turn right, I turn left. And we keep it moving. Next up is Shannon and Ryan. Shannon and Ryan. So they are having a conversation. The experts are saying we're quite confused because we don't understand what happened. And Shannon is trying to justify them leaving the experiment by saying that, you know, there were a lot of things going on behind the scenes that nobody knew and that she kept hidden because she really wanted to stay married to this man. But then she realized that she had had enough and she needed to leave, because it seems like she's trying to imply that he was emotionally and psychologically abusive. He criticized her weight. And I'm thinking of the cuties from Love is Blind. I'm thinking, why didn't they have video footage of that? Maybe they need to have cameras in the apartments that is recording 24/7. And Ryan's justification is that he is someone who has had cancer, so he knows that your health is important. She was on antibiotics and he told her you need to eat. She didn't criticize that. She didn't challenge that. So whether he said something and she mistook it for something else, I don't know. Yes, they're both responsible as far as I'm concerned. Maybe he might have made some inappropriate remarks, but seeing how Shannon behaved towards Hannah, my empathy for her goes out the door. I'm sorry. I'm one of those people that likes to call a spade a spade. Yes, he might have been wrong in the way he treated her, but what did she do to that relationship? What did she contribute to the relationship? It's one thing to sort of play up the Shauna story from last season, who was being emotionally and psychologically abused, and another thing to sort of play it up but not have said anything to anyone. Do you understand what I mean? At some point, she should have told the experts instead of just packing her bags and leaving. Irregardless of that, when she sat down with the girls, she should have said something, but she didn't say anything. So for her to turn around now and sort of say, oh, he was this bad person, he did A, B, C, D, E, F, G, I want to believe her. Don't get me wrong. I want to believe her that he could have manipulated her. But also at the same time, I feel like she's exaggerating some of the things that she's saying. So yes, he might have made some inappropriate remarks like this is a holiday romance, this is this, because he's quite a good looking guy. I don't understand how he could not have found the love of his life in the real world. But at the same time, I understand that his motives might not have been pure for coming on the show, but what did she contribute to the relationship? There's more to this story than we're being told, and I wish we'd found out a lot more. The fact that Ryan is saying that I have kept quiet and allowed her to run along with this storyline and not bitten one day, it's more or less like he's telling her that one day I'm going to tell the truth, and I hope in interviews they actually reveal exactly what happened. What's up is Sasha and Ross. Sasha and Ross, well, they say they're in a very good space. Sasha reveals that when they left the experiment, they went straight to Warsaw. You know my thoughts on that. I feel like he should have gone to Manchester. She should have gone to Warsaw for a bit, at least a week or two, sort of, and then come back to wherever they were deciding they wanted to live. But according to Sasha, she has decided that they will stay in Warsaw until they've sort of polished their conflict management. And it's like, make it make sense. I don't get it. At the moment, apparently, he at the time of the reunion, he had been going up to Manchester every weekend to see his daughter. And so that can be draining. That really can be draining, I think, in my opinion. This is why I felt that he should have maybe stayed in Manchester and she stayed in Warsaw, and then he drives down the weekend to see her, or she comes up during the weekend to see him. They can alternate weekends. They talk about the fact that, yeah, they still do disagree and they are still working on their conflict management. And for me, I think their conflict is mainly around Sasha wanting to be the one who's always right. That's my opinion. And I think the moment Ross sort of disputes that or argues against that, then she kicks off. And I like that the experts were able to say to them that the two of you are both responsible for the success and the failures in your marriage. It's not just one person. Because what we saw throughout the experiment was Sasha was always throwing Ross under the bus. Oh, he does this, he does that, he does that. But she would never own up to what she does, outside of the fact that she said, oh, you know, when he says, I want 5 minutes, I get furious. It's very aggravating and he's passive aggressive. And it's like, what do you mean by he's passive aggressive with his communication? What will you have said that causes him to do that or to say that? Make it make sense? And so I wish they'd asked them more questions, and I wish Sasha had apologized for some of her behavior towards the other people in the experiment. At least that would have been nice. Last but not least is Kieran and Christina. So we get to see their journey, and they talk about the dinner party and the tensions that were there. And Christina is right to say she questions whether Kieran was in it for the right reason. The fact that he's already dating makes me question him. I feel like he came into this, as I said yesterday, he came into this expecting not to be matched with someone he would like, or expecting not to be matched with someone who would be likable and that the audience would fall in love with. And so the idea that he did and was settled was sort of paired with someone who's very lovable. He's tried to untangle himself the moment he's realized that he's developing strong feelings for her, because his goal was never to get married. He's someone who says he's a planner, and so he plans ahead. If he plans ahead, why then soon after saying leave would he start dating someone? That would tell you that he already intended to start dating someone before he left the experiment, and this could be one of the reasons behind his desire to leave the experiment. You could see he was taken aback when Christina said, I didn't feel like his feelings were genuine, because he didn't expect that from her. I think he expected her to just be crumbling and crying, and so he would have got away with whatever he wanted to say. And for him to say to Paul, oh, Paul, thank you for speaking up for me, because at times I struggle to articulate what I'm trying to say, but yes, when my previous dating history has left me the way I am. No, he should have responded to her, told her, no, this is hard for me. Can we take a break and we'll catch up later? Or he should have told her, I'm happy to communicate with you, but we need to understand that our relationship is over. He didn't do that. And when he saw the backlash from Christina freaking out that he was already dating, this is why he's decided to be all teary and stuff. He deserves a role on TV. He does deserve a role on TV in acting, because I am not buying whatever he's selling. I'm sorry. Whoever wants to buy what he's selling, I'm not buying it. I don't think his feelings were genuine. I think he was there to be famous. And once he realized that he was paired with someone who he, if not careful, would end up falling in love with, this is why he broke things off with Christina. That's just my opinion. What do I think? It was a great season. Yeah, it had a lot of ups and downs, a lot of bullying, a lot of hateful sort of comments, tendencies, sort of isolation of people. I didn't like that. I wish a lot more people had been held accountable. But sadly, they weren't. The likes of Holly should have been made to apologize to Hannah. That's my opinion. if Hannah is there, if they feel Hannah was wrong, the producers should have asked her to apologize. But still, Holly, Polly, Lacey, Shannon all deserve to apologize to Hannah, including Christina for chiming in. They all deserve to apologize to Hannah because she didn't do anything to them except them hearsay and go by hearsay. Anyway, thanks guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe. And click on the link to see my video from episode 35. I'll see you next season. Bye guys.